Hello, good day, welcome. Welcome to my Dreamcatcher concert vlog. I hope you will enjoy. I tried the structure before of talking about the clips before I show them when I did my BTS concert vlog, which was mainly because my camera malfunctioned and all of the videos facing me had no sound. But actually people said that they liked that setup, and I found that I really enjoyed that as well because it meant I actually got to say everything I wanted to say about it without like the really loud background noise. So I'm gonna try that again for you today. Is this background okay? Do the lights look weird? I think it looks weirder if it's just string and it's not on. That's the bottom of a clock. It's not just like this, whatever. I'm not used to filming in this room. I'm not used to filming this sort of video. It's fine, we'll make do, it will be fun. So without further ado, I'll show you the first clip, which is just like me getting ready before I leave. Also, I went to this concert on my own because I didn't know anyone who was majorly into Dreamcatcher. I had another friend who was thinking about going and then he decided not to. I love them too much to pass up the opportunity just because I had no one to go with. So it was also a bit of a weird experience for me because it was my first time seeing something on my own. So I was like more nervous than usual, and then also nervous because I had VIP tickets and like actually got to meet them. Hi, welcome to my vlog. I feel like this might be a bit awkward because I've still kind of half lost my voice, and I'll also just like be very aware that I'm talking to myself because I'm not going to this concert with anyone, but I have to show you the experience and I have to share it with someone, so I hope you will enjoy. I'm gonna head to the venue now. I look like just very casual here, and then like I've got a dress on and boots, so yeah, I will be dressed up. Not that you asked. I'm gonna end this here. So from what I'd heard online, I heard that they had like a ticketing system where you collect your ticket and it has a number, and then you queue up later on and you can be like that place in the queue. So if you happen to be like the 5th person to get there on the day, then you can have like 5th entry, so it's kind of first come first serve, but you don't have to wait the whole day. However, this was not implemented, which is just, okay. My main feelings about the concert were that Dreamcatcher were amazing and the organisation was terrible, which was a shame because you could see on their faces that they were annoyed about the way that it was being handled. It was also their first concert date of the tour, if I remember correctly, so I was kind of worried that this was just like a really bad start for them, but we will get to that later. Thankfully, I wasn't really affected by the bad organisation with the ticketing because I was planning on going a bit earlier to collect tickets and it was pouring with rain, and I'd already arranged to meet a friend in the afternoon. I was like, I'm just gonna go meet her. I don't care enough to wait in the rain and get myself soaked beforehand and like get ill. I was already ill, so yeah, it didn't affect me too much, but I know that there were quite a few people who were annoyed about it. Obviously that is not the fault of the girls, it's the fault of the organisers and the way that all of that was handled. Yeah, as a concert goer it was a bit frustrating. The doors for the VIP tickets were at 6, I think, or was it 6:30? There was also some sort of weird situation where the time that was on the tickets was not the time that the venue had to let us in, but that didn't matter anyway because it was delayed. So I remember getting there around, I think 6:10, thinking, oh, people should be moving by now. It wasn't raining anymore, but it was still quite cold outside. So I went to the VIP queue, then people were talking about their wristbands and I realised I didn't have a wristband, so I went back. So like, I think the whole setup there could have been clearer. Yeah, so I turned up at 6:10 expecting to be able to not walk straight in, but you know, for the queue to be moving, and it wasn't at all, only to find out that the doors for VIP tickets was actually 6:30, not 6, but I thought, well, it's only 20 minutes, it's not a big deal. I was feeling pretty hyped. I had my Dreamcatcher earrings in. They're not like official things, they're just Dreamcatchers, but you know, I prepared, I was ready, I was excited. I was talking to a few people in the queue, kind of made some friends while we were waiting, so that was quite nice because I was a bit worried about going on my own. Also, to the person who messaged me the next day on Twitter and said, hi, I saw you but I wasn't sure if it was you, and it was me, I'm really sorry I missed you, but thanks so much for reaching out, and that's really exciting that like someone was there who watches my videos. Like, I didn't expect that, so that was really cool to see. Back to the event. Entry was delayed, but we weren't actually told about this until quite a long time after we were meant to be let in. I think they actually announced it at like 7:15, 10:50, something like that. I knew beforehand because the people I was stood next to in the queue happened to be friends with like one of the people helping organise, and so they were talking to their friend and saying, oh, apparently it's delayed, but like they hadn't told the public yet. When the doors were actually meant to be opening, the public still didn't know. So I thought that was weird. Again, not Dreamcatcher's fault, but you know, you clicked on this video and this is my experience with it. This next clip I wasn't gonna keep in, but my flatmates told me they think it's funny, so here you go. We've been in the queue for a very long time and it's been delayed by like half an hour. Don't judge me.
Be nice.
It took me this amount of time to gather up the courage to leave me alone. I promised it, so. We've been waiting for a long time and I think we're finally going in, so. Anyway, I think it was posted on Twitter that it was delayed because of technical difficulties, which I can definitely believe given what happened when we got in. So eventually we get let in. I think the concert was meant to start at 7:30 or something like that, but then we didn't actually start walking in till like 7:15, and I was in the first queue of people. Although I was quite near the back, I was like number 400 and something. Also, yeah, I thought that there wouldn't be that many VIP tickets sold. I think like maybe half of the tickets were VIP. I mean, it was still really cool. We still got the high touch, we still got the benefits and everything, but we weren't quite as close as I'd pictured, so I feel like that was kind of misleading advertising. I got in and I went to the toilet, and when I came back out, because they'd been delayed, they let everyone in like straight after each other. Which again I'm not annoyed about, but I did end up with like all the general admissions people, so like I didn't get that close to the front. Some of my videos aren't amazing because there are a lot of people in front of me, and it was a bit of a shame about the view because I had expected to be a bit closer, but that may have also just been an error on my part, like thinking it was more exclusive than it was. To be honest, I could have pushed my way forward and got closer, but I just kind of thought I'm happy here. I started talking to a couple of people next to me who seemed really nice, and I thought, you know what, I'm happy like being here, talking to some people, enjoying it from this distance. So yeah, I made my decision and it turned out fine. Now that we were inside, I think my feedback is going to be a lot more positive. I was excited, I was warm again. The concert was really good. It was really good. I'm obviously biased because I think Dreamcatcher are amazing, but I mean, if I didn't, then why would I have gone? The atmosphere once we were inside was really fun. There was some music playing quite faintly in the background when I walked inside, and I heard someone nearby kind of saying, oh, they're not even playing K-pop, what is this? Then a bit later, I think maybe once people on the balcony had started coming in as well, they turned up the volume a little bit and they started playing Dreamcatcher songs, which was really cool because it meant that the audience was then practicing the fan chants, and like I was so impressed. Like I kind of half learnt the fan chants thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna like yell along and it's gonna be really good, and it was, but like everyone outdid me basically. Dreamcatcher has some really passionate fans. I love that it's not the biggest fandom. They are getting recognition, like they're getting there definitely, but everyone was so passionate and like the fan chants were so loud and you could just feel the love for them in the room. And I also found it really interesting because, for example, when I went to the BTS concert, so BTS is the only other K-pop group that I've seen so far, and a lot of those fans were younger. They were like, you know, teenagers, mainly girls, quite a lot of small kids, which did surprise me because like when I was that young I had no idea what K-pop was, but it's exciting that times are changing. But with Dreamcatcher, the types of people that were there, it was really diverse, and I thought that was quite exciting because it shows that they touch a lot of people with their music. I kind of started to second guess what their main demographic was, but in a really positive way. Like I just thought it was really cool. Like I saw some like adults and I kind of thought at first, oh, they must be bringing a child, and then I realized they were there on their own, and I was like, yes, you go, you support Dreamcatcher. I found that very exciting. I guess technically that was me as well, seeing as I'm 22. Okay, the thing that I found kind of weird was that after they've been playing the music for a bit, there was a slight pause in the music. So obviously people were thinking, oh, are they going to come on? And because the concert was delayed, we didn't actually know when it was meant to start, so every time there was a small gap, there was like more anticipation building. So yeah, the music stopped slightly, and then it got louder, and then Deja Vu came on. And I think maybe because it was louder, it really sounded like the vocals were live. So everyone cheered and we were getting quite excited, and I started filming. They weren't on stage, but I had the impression that they were going to do that like beginning kind of intro few lines from Xion, and then in the instrumental bit they'd all walk on and then perform the rest of the song. That's kind of what I thought would happen when the song started. And then the instrumental bit was going, and people had started the fan chant and we were getting excited, and like the lighting was a bit different. It had gone kind of this shade of purple, and then nothing happened. as you can observe, there was a kind of slight silence when still no one walked on and like the voices carried on. And then you just hear people talking, which included me and the person next to me saying like, where are they? And I don't know. So clearly they hadn't planned to come on at that point, but because of the way that the volume levels were adjusted and the lights changed, it was quite misleading. It was a bit weird, but I guess it made sense because they wanted that to build the anticipation fully, you know, playing their latest single before they actually walked on stage. So there was a blackout, they all walked on stage, we could see them faintly, and everyone was cheering, getting really excited, and they got into their positions for Fly High. And again, they waited, and the lights stayed down and no music came on and nothing happened. At one point, one of them kind of moved, turned around, looked backstage, got back into their position, waited a bit more, and nothing happened. And then one of them kind of looked up and waved. I don't know why I'm demonstrating this. They looked up and waved. I think it was Sua who just said like, can you bring up the lights? And they just like, they brought up the lights and they did their introduction first. When I got back home afterwards and I was talking to my flatmates about this, it was just so funny because I was like, the concert was really good, but like what the hell was going on? It was so weird. It was so weirdly done. I was just stood there like, I don't understand what the structure of this is. And suddenly I realized what the technical difficulties were. Like if the music wasn't working, no wonder the concert was delayed. It was kind of bittersweet because like obviously I was so happy to see them, and like the atmosphere was amazing considering like some people have been waiting in the cold for a long time. As soon as we saw them, the atmosphere just really lifted, and that was amazing that they had that kind of power. I mean, I know we're all fans, so like obviously that was predictable to a certain extent, but Dreamcatcher were really apologetic for the delays, and they seemed genuinely really upset that we'd had to wait for so long and that there had been so many problems with their rehearsal.
많이 기다리시고 추운데 기다리셨는데 많이 기다리게 해서 정말 죄송해요.
So all of you guys waited so long outside in the cold, and you were waiting so long for this show tonight, and we're really sorry about that.
하지만 이렇게 많이 기다리신 만큼 저희가 정말 멋진 무대 보여드릴게요.
And they just seemed a bit downhearted, which I thought was really a shame. My girls are in London, treat them better! Like, I want them to come back. I guess you can't really help technical difficulties. I don't know much about sound and lighting in concerts, but like, obviously it wasn't deliberate. But like, especially when the first song didn't start, you could just see them getting like really frustrated. Even though they were trying to act quite positive about it, I could just kind of see that something wasn't quite right, so yeah. But they did their introductions, they seemed really happy to meet us. They got back into their positions after they'd done their intro, and they did perform Fly High. Thankfully the music started this time and I kind of breathed a sigh of relief. I've done like performances and stuff before, and it's just like whenever something like that happens, I just picture being in their position and how stressful it would be. So I was so relieved when the music started. Oh yeah, also if you didn't know, Han-dong wasn't there. She had a clash with her promotions in China, I believe. One of the audience members brought a practically life-size cutout of Han-dong. Sua noticed this audience member holding this cutout and like walked over and like gestured for the security guards to help her like bring it on stage, and they had it on the stage for like the entire show, and it was just really funny. They had her propped up at the side when they were doing songs with dance moves, and then if it was more of a ballad type song they'd bring her into the middle and sing with her, and it was just really cute. Then after Fly High they performed Chase Me. Chase Me is a classic, it's old but gold, it's still one of my favorites, and I was just full of emotion because, if you don't know, I actually had tickets to go and see them in February 2018, and then like 5 days before the concert I injured my knee and I couldn't walk and I couldn't go, and I was really upset about it for a long time. And even though I felt I kind of got over it, I was still just waiting for Dreamcatcher to come back. I felt like I'd been robbed of that experience to see them. And so seeing some of the songs which I'd expected to see when I originally had tickets, I'm making this sound so cringy, but it was really emotional for me, and I was so excited to finally get to see the songs that I had been waiting for. Had a bit more of that impact for me because I'd been waiting to see them for so long. And honestly, their dancing was so in sync, as expected, and their stage presence was insane. It was better than I expected it to be. I didn't want to set up my expectations too high. I mean, I know I failed with that. I'd never seen them live, I didn't know what it'd be like. I knew they'd be in sync, I thought their vocals would be really good, but it's always difficult to predict until you actually see someone. But their stage presence was insane, especially Sua, and it was when I saw her, I'd already decided, okay, I'm pretty sure she's my bias, but I saw her performing and she was the mood maker. The atmosphere that she brought to their songs was insane. She worked so well with the audience, she kept hyping everyone up, and it was really impressive. So this concert was at the end of October, so I had just posted my Trust Me cover a month before. I've grown even more in love with it since I'd been working on the cover. That sounds really narcissistic, but you know when you listen to a song a lot and kind of form your own interpretation of it, and I felt a bit more of a connection to it after that. And then it came on and I was like, oh, I know this, I know all of their music, but I got irrationally excited. Mainly it was Jiu who was holding Han-dong up and swaying her to the music, and in Han-dong's parts she would hold up the mic and pretend that she was singing it, and I don't know, I just thought that it was really cute and funny. It was adorable. I felt really grateful for whoever that was that brought the cutout, because it made it feel a bit more like she was really there, and it showed that the members were missing her and you know, wanted her to be part of the experience even if she wasn't there. And the way that they incorporated this cutout into their performances was just really cool. They also did a small section of different covers. They performed Havana, the iconic Dreamcatcher version of Havana, like the rock version. I love it so much. My only regret about that bit was that there was a bit where they all went on the floor and did some floor work, and I wasn't close enough to see, and that made me a bit mad. Again, that was a venue issue. I'm really hoping that if they come again, then they'll upgrade to a bigger venue. So when they came February 2018, they were in the same venue, but they didn't sell it out. I think because they managed to sell it out this time, hopefully they'll go to a better venue next time, because this was just a student union that was set up to perform a concert in. And so the stage wasn't very high, which meant that if they did kind of drop to the floor and do other things, then the audience near the front were blocking them. There wasn't really anything that anyone could do about that, I guess, unless you were on the balcony. Maybe that would have been better. And then, something I wasn't expecting at all, they covered TT by Twice, and I was like, whoa. I mean, I love Twice. I stan Twice, I stan Dreamcatcher. It was a great combo. The music started for Bad Boy and I freaked out, and I don't know why, but it was that thing where I was like, I know this song, and I couldn't place what it was for a second, but the music started and it's so distinctive, and I heard this really loud scream somewhere near me, and I was like, wow, someone is really excited for this song. So the people I was stood with, there was a boy and a girl, and the boy looked at the girl thinking that it was her, and then she looked at me and I realized I was the one screaming. And that was weird because like Bad Boy isn't even my favorite Red Velvet song. Controversial opinion. I do like it. I honestly prefer a lot of their other title tracks. Most of those were like 1-minute clips of the song or something, but that was just a really fun thing that I didn't expect. Finally they performed Deja Vu and it was everything that I wanted and more, like the power vocals, like the softness. I know that they're good, but their vocals live, they were a bit better than I was expecting them to be. They then had a little break where they talked to all of us and they tried to use their English a bit, which was just cute. I'm pretty sure Deja Vu was their last song before the encore, and that was surprising to me because it just didn't feel like it had been that long. The lights came up. That's when I noticed that the girl I was stood next to had this poster. It's the same style as the ones that I have from the BTS concerts. They're like this wide and they have the Korean words and then an English translation underneath and like some decoration. I'll just put a picture. That would make so much more sense than explaining it. Yeah, the girl said that she was surprised that I hadn't got one, so I don't know, like, but I couldn't be bothered to ask because I thought like, whatever, I'm gonna get a signed poster at the end, so I think that makes up for it, and I did, and oh my god, it's really cool, but we'll get to that after. Did surprise me in a way because I thought they would do more of the recent ones, but I was very excited that they did some of the older ones. Like the encore stage started with Wake Up, and also that was my alarm for a very long time. So like every time I hear the music start, I'm like, ah, wake up, like literally. Some people have brought like those meme photos of them, not that big, like meme photos of them, and like Dreamcatcher were taking them and like holding them up to each other's faces and making fun of them, and like the atmosphere was just really fun. They genuinely looked like they were having a good time. I think like the difficulties of earlier that day had actually passed and like everyone was just having a good time. Somebody also brought a UK flag and then they held that up, and I think, did they sign it? I feel like it looked like it had been signed, or maybe it was the people who brought it who'd signed it. I don't know. I saw writing, but I was too far away to really see what was happening. But yeah, I got a couple pictures of them holding up the flag, and that just made me excited. Oh. They also performed Over the Sky, which I didn't expect because it wasn't like on any of their albums. But I mean, it makes sense because it was a gift for the fans on their anniversary, and that's what closed the concert. Oh, I had so much emotion, and like it was a really nice night. It was really good. concert ended, the people I was stood with left because they were in general admission, so they weren't waiting for the high touch event at the end. Weren't really sure what was happening, so everyone was just milling around. Someone came up to me and started talking to me, and I think they were very drunk, and I don't remember what they said, but they were like, I don't know, talking about like a phone case or a charger or something, and I just got a bit confused. But yeah, I had company, so there's that.
The concert's officially over and now we're just waiting for the high touch event. I don't know how much of that I'll film because I want to live in the moment, but like, we'll see and hopefully it all goes well.
This lighting is getting really weird. It's because the sun is coming in from the side. Yeah, me vlogging a little bit before the high touch event was actually the last bit of footage I got. Part of me wanted to film the high touch event and like to be able to show people, hey, I met Dreamcatcher, but it was my first high touch event. They're like my favorite girl group, and I was just too nervous, and like I didn't want to waste the experience in a way by like focusing on filming it and not focusing on being in the moment. So instead I just went for it, and I was really calm at first because we got directed through the store, and then there was someone stood at the side like checking our wristbands before we got through the next door. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense, they're making sure that everyone who comes through is VIP. So that's what the wristbands were for. And when we went through the next door, they were literally stood like right there. There was no sort of build up. My hands look so white. There was no sort of build up once we got through. They were like, I walk in and Thua is like a meter away, and I'm just like, what? I mean, actually the first thing that I saw was I got through the door and I saw the people in front of me freaking out. One of them like stumbled backwards and like yelped a bit because, I mean, naturally. And then there was a security guard at the side saying like, you know, come on, hurry along. And that really influenced me, where I was like, yes, I am focused, I will move on, I will like process in the queue in an orderly fashion. Like for some reason the security guards being like, come on, we need to get a move on, just like made me really focus, and I kind of wish I'd taken a bit more time to like mentally prepare myself beforehand. I guess it's because they were delayed originally and they didn't want to spend too long waiting at the end, because like Dreamcatcher had a really long day, and you know, they'd just done the full performance. But like I thought it was a bit weird that like, you know, we'd paid extra for this experience and they were rushing it quite a lot. So again, the organisation was not the best. It was actually a bit strange seeing them in person, partly because I was like, lol, they're just so short. Because, you know, they're all similar heights to each other, but I am taller than them. I don't know why, I just found that funny because I always picture idols being really tall, and then if I look up their profiles and see their heights, I'm like, oh, they're all tiny. I'm sorry if that's me being heightist, but like, I just found it a bit funny. And then the other thing I thought is like, oh wow, I can really see that they're wearing stage makeup. And so that made it feel a bit ethereal. Like it was quite surreal. They didn't look like real people, they looked like dolls. And that was partly because of the makeup and partly probably me just knowing that they're stars. You could tell that they'd been performing. It looks completely natural when you're on the stage in that harsh lighting, and then you get off stage and it's like, why is your face like that? Like they looked beautiful, but like it was very obvious they were wearing stage makeup. I mean, of course they would be, but like, I don't know what I expected. They looked so natural on stage. And Sua was the first one that I high-fived. She had like a smile plastered on her face, which was fine, no shade to her at all, but like, I felt like it was one of those things where it had been a long day and she was like smiling and, you know, happy to be there, but probably quite tired and ready to go home. And I kind of thought like, oh, you know, maybe this like isn't the best atmosphere for having a high touch event afterwards, and I do think that the security guards rushing everyone through it maybe wasn't great for them either, because they don't really get to have any interaction with the fans when people have to move that quickly. I had wondered before I went about what I was gonna do, what I was gonna say. Part of me at some point was actually thinking about bringing business cards and being like, hey, check out my covers of your songs, and I thought that'd be really weird and I don't want to do that. Not even weird, just like, I mean, a bit random. And then I thought, I don't know if they'd be allowed to accept them. I would probably freak out and like second guess myself and not even do it. So I thought, well, what a waste of paper. Maybe next time. When I got to Ju, she seemed a bit more engaged than the others. She actually made eye contact with me, and when I said my awkward hi, thank you, which I'd said to everyone so far because I didn't really know what else to do, I was a bit overwhelmed, she smiled at me and said thank you back, and like, that was just such a small thing. But for some reason her smile felt a bit more genuine. She seemed a bit more present in the moment. I don't know really what it was, but like, it really felt like we made eye contact. Like the others, I looked at their eyes and they were probably looking at me too, but like, it didn't really feel like, I'm not gonna say we had like some sort of connection because that's so dumb, but like, you know, I really felt like she saw me, and that was just that was really exciting. It was very exciting. Yuhyun also seemed quite excited. I feel like she was probably more comfortable because she has like quite a good grasp on English. I don't know whether the language barrier was also one of the reasons. Maybe they felt a bit more awkward with the high touch. I don't know what it was. It was probably a combination of a lot of things. Minzy and Yuhyun were the ones that kind of really caught my attention in the high touch event because they seemed actually excited and happy to be seeing people there. It seemed like they were interacting with people a bit more. Maybe they're just good with fans, I don't know. So that was just literally like we high-fived them on our way out of the concert, but I mean, I'm very glad I did it. And then before I left, I got given a poster. I wasn't fully sure at first whether or not it was going to be like signed as in they'd physically signed it with pens for each time, or whether it was going to be like printer signatures, but since the concert the signatures have faded ever so slightly, which means it must be real, so that's pretty cool. I have a signed Dreamcatcher poster in my room at university, and like that's the thing that happened. I met Dreamcatcher. I feel like I've thrown so much shade in this video. Like, if I was organising it myself, there were a few things that I would have done differently. But on the other hand, if my music taste hadn't brought them to London and arranged this concert, then it wouldn't have happened. So you've got to be grateful for it. Or, I mean, you don't have to be grateful for it, but I am grateful for it. I'm really glad that I got to see them. This has been a bit strange. So as I said in the beginning, my overall perspective on the concert was Dreamcatcher were amazing, organisation was terrible, but overall I'm really glad I went, and yeah, I had a lovely time. If somebody watches this who wasn't able to go, I know this was just my personal experience, and you know, it was a lot about how I found it, but hopefully with some of the clips and things you can feel a bit more involved and like you were able to be there as well, because Dreamcatcher weren't just performing this for the fans that were there, they were performing it for all the fans who would be watching. They were performing for everyone. It felt like a really inclusive environment, and yeah, hopefully I don't know what point I'm trying to make, but like, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will be doing a couple more videos like this because I found that I really enjoy it. So remember to subscribe for more, and also check out my covers. I have Dreamcatcher covers. Remember to share with your friends or whoever else, and like and comment. My voice is going, so I need to go. I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye!